Welcome back to Marching on FPL. A Leeds fan take on FPL for his third season. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment as well on future ideas that you'd like to do. Today is the game week 2 review, and to be honest with you, to cut it short, it couldn't have gone much worse. Of course, you guys know I was on my free hit this week, and the team that I ended up with is on screen. The only difference is Palmer was, of course, in for Josh King, which obviously Palmer didn't end up starting the game because he got injured in the warm up. Um, Looking at the team, I do think obviously I got unlucky. Um, I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's an awful, awful week. However, there's nothing we can do about it now. We have to move forward and move on. Obviously, some of the standouts in my team, very few of them. Arsenal defence, obviously double. I thought the Leeds Arsenal game was going to be a lot closer. I hoped it'd be a lot closer. It wasn't, of course. I should have gone for Gyökeres, potentially even captained him in hindsight. But hindsight's a beautiful thing. We're not going to beat around the bush. This is my team. This is how it performed. 38 points. So the returns obviously coming from Raya, 6 points, Gabriel, 6 points, Saka, 6 points, and Semenyo, 6 points. Everybody else blanking. Yeah, I feel like I got unlucky, um, but that's the art of it. That's what it is. So there's nothing we can really do. As of my plans for the future, this week I think I'm going to look to roll, followed by a wildcard team in game week 4, which we will look at in a minute as well. So if we go on to the fixtures, we're going to talk through some of the key players in the games and the standout teams that I am looking at. So obviously the first game, West Ham versus Chelsea. Uh, Absolute standout by João Pedro. Of course, he's in my main team. Yeah, he had an incredible game in the as a second striker, and it's made me this week potentially looking at him as a captaincy option, which I wasn't before. Neto, I think he's an option that probably will keep ticking over. However, his minutes aren't necessarily 100% secure. Someone to do like a little bit more than him for zero point 0.5 cheaper is Enzo Fernandez, whose minutes are good. He'll be good for defensive contributions, and I think he will tip him with attack and returns. I believe he's on set pieces as well for them. So I say though again, defensive contribution monster. He only got 7 defensive contributions in this game, which is probably one of the lowest level season just because West Ham were so poor, literally didn't even touch the ball. And Chalobah as well, getting a goal. Again, not a bad option, I don't think. But the minutes again are a little bit of a risk. So Chelsea players I'm looking at, João Pedro I've already got. Palmer, he's a keep. I don't unless we get team news or something that says he's going to be, missing this game plus further games. I think he is a hold. Having said that, on a wild card, don't know if I'd have him. We'll look at that in a minute though. West Ham players, steer clear of them. I've got Bowen. I'll probably keep him for this week, but only because I'm wildcarding next week. If I wasn't wildcarding next week, uh, I think I probably would look to get rid of him, maybe for like a Chris Wood or Mateta's fixtures swing as well in the short term. Well, short to mid term, I believe. So first game, Chelsea obviously playing very, very well. Next up, we've got Manchester City versus Tottenham. And now Tottenham are a team that I think should be spoke about in a little bit more depth. Uh, on my wild card at the moment, I have got 2 Tottenham players. And the reason it's 2 and not 3 is because I don't know what the third one should be. At the minute, Johnson, he scored 2 goals and two. He's in my team. The other one is Vicario, who I don't think people are really looking at. I think he's got 18 points in 2 games. And yeah, he's played very, very well. Um, getting clean sheets, but also save points and bonus points because of that. So Vicario and Johnson, if Tottenham don't sign another forward, which for what it's worth, I think they will. And this is the reason that I am free hitting in game week. Wild carding in game week 4 because the deadline, the transfer window will have shut. We'll know which players are there, which ones are settled, which ones are going to play. It'll have more of a picture instead of, oh, this player's not as nailed, etc., etc. So I'm doing it next week, not this week. Moving on, defense. I think with Thomas Frank, I could go for another defender with Vicario. I could go for a Porro. Most expensive of them defenders. Also probably got the most attacking output. Although Tottenham should be good from set pieces, which is why potentially I'd be looking at a Van der Ven at 4.5 million. Alternatively, you've got Sarr at 5 million. Again, I think it's a good option if they don't get a replacement. Xavi Simmons is being talked about at the minute. Whether he goes to them or Chelsea, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. If Sarr is playing in that 10 position, I know it's got him as a right of the 3 on the screen. He's playing more advanced than Paulinho Benzico. If he is playing in that position at 5 million, he's a good option. Again, Richarlison, good option. Minutes, I don't think I could go there just because they could get. I don't think they're going to get another striker, but there's Solanke there ready to take a spot, I believe. Also, Tell. The only way I would go there is if like Solanke was definitely injured. Uh, yeah. So Tottenham, I'm definitely looking at on a wild card. I think there's a lot of good options for City. Obviously, Tottenham is their bogey team. Haaland, I'm looking at on a wild card just because it's City, it's Haaland. Apart from that, I don't think you can really go anywhere. Even the keeper now is going to just be rotation, so I'd steer clear of the pep roulette. Bournemouth Wolves now obviously went for a double up in attack on my free hit, and the Bournemouth with Evan Nilsson and Semenyo only getting one return from a Semenyo assist. Semenyo would be on my wild card. Just think he's really good. Obviously, he should have. I believe I didn't watch the game, but I've heard, and he should have scored, etc. Whatever. He played really well. He's played really well for in the first game as well. Um, I think he'll tick along quite nicely. Apart from that, defenders. I don't know. Maybe you could go for a Truffert or a centre back to pick up the defensive contributions for them. As for Wolves, I'd steer clear of most of their picks, apart from Strand Larsen if he stays. Don't think he will. Think he will go to Newcastle. Um, but if he does stay, I think he's a good option. 6.5 million with the fixtures turning in the short term. Moving on to Brentford, Aston Villa, and now Dango Atara. For those of you that have seen the spreadsheet, will yeah, great option. Looking at him on a wild card. If you had a free transfer this week and you wanted to move on to Palmer and you wanted to go for a cheaper option to free up some money to maybe go into Salah or Haaland, if it could help you, Dango, fantastic option. Believe he got defensive contribution. He obviously got the goal. Could have had another one. Yeah, I think he's a standout 6 million midfielder. I think he's better than your Rutters. Reindeer's probably close, but I think I would prefer Dango. Um, Penalties wise for Brentford, don't know who'd be on them. Wissa, if he goes, which it looks like he is. Obviously, Thiago took it in the first game. Dango wasn't even at the club yet. I think maybe Dango probably not first choice, but he could be down the line, potentially. I'm not 100% sure. As for Aston Villa, they've started really poorly, but I'd keep the key players that you'd have from there, like Ollie Watkins and Morgan Rogers, maybe a defender like Konsa. Keep them all. The fixtures are still very good, so I would keep all them players as well. Burnley, Sunderland. I'd stay clear of most of the players. I think. I don't think there's many standout options. Jaden and Anthony could be an option. I think he's 5.5. But the only place you're really going to look at these teams on free hit, and it's probably buying the players playing against them and captaining them. So I'd stay clear of that. On to the Leeds drubbing. Um, Gyökeres getting a brace off the score. Sorry, well, getting on the score sheet. Decent option. Timber, absolute masterclass, getting 2 goals and an assist as well for Saka's goal, who came off on the quite early. I don't know whether it's in the first half or early in the second half. Looks like he's going to be out. Saka probably is a sell. It looks like he'll be out for about 4 or 5 weeks. Timber, I actually do really like as an option. That Arsenal right back, I remember last season or season before, I think it must have been, having Ben White, who got a 26 point in a double game week. Obviously, Timber's done that now in 1 week. Um, Listen, Arsenal defenders are going to get points. The reason you can't, I don't think, go for Timber is like we saw in the first game. Ben White played. I thought Ben White played well. Same with the left back. You can't go Calafiore because Miles Lewis Skelly is there ready to play. Vice versa, you can't go Miles Lewis Skelly because if you're always there to play, you can't go Ben White because Tim was there to play. The only 2 or 3 nailed defenders are the keeper, Raya, and then Gabriel Saliba. I'd go for Gabriel. I know Timber you save 0.5, but he's just not going to play every game. Um, Enough said on that. Arsenal, if you're looking for a midfield in the short term, maybe Madueke. He looked quite sharp when Saka came off and he moved to the right hand side. And obviously Saka is going to be out for a little while. I think that's all that needs to be said on Arsenal. Defence is very good. Yeah. Crystal Palace Forest, quite a boring game. Ismail Sarr, I think a very good option, especially if Palace's fixture turning, as are Munoz and Lacroix. Mateta could also be a very good option for Palace. On Forest, you've got the defensive contribution monster Murillo, potentially Milenkovic, Sales, Chris Wood, Morgan Gibbs White. There's a lot of options for both of these teams, probably not against each other though. I think not many people have plays against each other in this one because to be fair, one was a fair reflection of the clubs. I think they're both good clubs. Obviously, they're both in a bit of transition, trying to make their way to the next level. And, consistently be in Europe, but I think one was quite a fair reflection of the clubs there. A lot of options in both of them teams that I'm going to be looking at on a wild card, or even just people should be looking at in the future. Everton, Brighton, Grealish getting a double assist on his debut, or not his debut, sorry, his first start, and Die scoring. 6.5 million midfielders that I think are okay options. Who's better? Probably in I think he's got penalties, probably more of a goal threat. Grealish is probably more of an assist threat, winning free kicks edge of the box, etc. For what it's worth, I'd stay clear of probably most of the assets for both of these teams. Brighton, they've got a lot of young, exciting players they can rotate. Fulham, Manchester United, going a bit cold on Man United for what it's like in pre-season. I was looking, oh yeah, I'm definitely having Fernandez. I could have the left back, forgot his name, uh, Dorgu. I'm going cold on it. I think they're really, really poor. Obviously, they lost last night in the cup as well. Um, I'd stay clear of. I'd keep them. I think they've got Burnley this week. I'd keep them. I would not be buying them, and I probably would. They're on forward watch. I probably would be looking to get rid. Fulham, I'd stay clear of most of their assets. And then the big game of the week: Liverpool versus Newcastle. Ekatike scoring again. I really like him. If Isak doesn't go, and that's the main thing, does Isak go? I at this point I don't know. I thought he would, but it's getting closer to the deadline, which is of course Monday evening or night. Gravenberch coming back into the lineup, getting a goal, and of course the 16-year-old kid Rio getting the winner in the 90 plus 10. Um, I mean, the standout here is Newcastle are going to be poor against Leeds. So I'm hoping Leeds can get something against them because of the suspensions and the injuries they did pick up in that game. Um, I think Joe Linton's out, Gorner's out, Isak's out, Tonali's out. They've got some big players out. Of course, they've got big players then to fill the roles of them, but hoping Leeds can get a result against them. And Liverpool players, yeah, I'll be looking at, Gakpo, Ekitike, Salah, Van Dijk. I think they're the main ones I'm looking at. Wirtz, I think if you've got him, he is a sell. Not too sure if he's a sell. Or he's probably either a sell this week or you can hold him through Burnley and whoever they've got after that. I think they've got a good fixture after that as well. So that's the matches completed. That's my team completed. You can see there. So I'm going to move on to a initial wildcard draft that I have been looking at for game week 4. And obviously, the Liverpool players have got Burnley and Everton. That's it. So we're going to run through this very quickly. Just in a completely initial draft, I'll be doing some content over pre-season, I'm sure, on a wildcard draft, but this is just my absolute first reaction, thinking, right, this is what I'm looking at, and this is obviously before the game week 3 deadline. Vicario in goal, I really like that. I think Tottenham defensively now are a team that you should be looking at. It's changed from last year, done a full 180. They were getting pumped defensively, and now they brought in Thomas Frank defensively, very good manager, and 2 clean sheets in 2. I think that will continue. And then I've got Anderson because of a good fixture against Leeds, and also he's an absolute defensive contribution monster. I could have Van der Ven and go for a double up in the Tottenham defence, but I've just differentiated it for this. Munoz against Sunderland, I think, is a lock on my wild card. The only way I wouldn't go for him is potentially going for Lacroix, having defensive contributions. Very, very good for that. Cucurella, really like that option. I could go for like a Van Dijk, but I don't really want to shut off the third Liverpool in the draft, to be honest with you. And Cucurella has done me well in the first week. I think he will continue to do well. Midfield, Johnson, who obviously, and this is a zero point 0.4 off. I can afford this. Um, I can probably, I can show you it on my. There you go. So I've got zero point 0.1 in the bank, so I can afford one price change, which I don't know if I will be able to. I'll run through it on here and then go over to the one for the pick team just to show you. Um, so I've gone through the keepers. Dubravka, obviously backup keeper, just 4 million playing. This is obviously the fixtures in this week as well. So I'll go back to the one just to make it a little bit more easier so you can see. But obviously 0.4 is wrong. I've got zero point 0.1 in the bank with the same team, so I can afford this. I think it's just because the buy price of some of the players are a bit wrong. But um, where was I? Johnson. If Tottenham don't buy another attacker, I think he'd be a really good option. If they do buy another attacker, I probably wouldn't go for him. I'd go for a long midfield around 7 million. Um, on the bench, obviously, run through that quickly. Rodon is just a 4 million defender. He's one I'm liking most at the minute. Could go Goodmanson as well from Leeds. Murillo on the bench, who will come in for Anderson on a consistent basis, just against Arsenal. I figured, put him on the bench, put someone that's good against this for this week, and let that be good. That's why I'm not 0.4 out. But Bruggen would be Dubravka. I was wondering why. There we go. That's fixed now. And Stack, a lot of people going under the radar. 5 million midfielder on corners, good for defensive contribution, decent attacking threat for Leeds. Don't mind it as an option. I think he is better than Dewsbury Hall. I think he probably is a bit better than King as well right now. So he's the 5 million on the bench to come in if something happens. Moving through, Sarr against Sunderland, great fixture. That would go for him. Semenyo, good consistency. I think he'll keep ticking along. Decent fixtures as well, I believe, in the short to mid term. And then Gakpo done really well. Obviously, this depends on the Isak thing because if Isak does go, I wouldn't go Ekatike or Gakpo because I think Isak would be the starting nine. In which case, I probably would go for Isak in the wildcard draft and find another 2 million. I think I need to find from Ekatike. I would need to find 1.6 million, which I would probably would want to find if Isak did go. Because I think Isak would play. I've said this a few times on video before, but Isak will play up front, and then on the left, I think it's between Gakpo and Ekatike. But as it stands, I think both Gakpo and Ekatike are pretty nailed. They haven't really got any other options to cover them. So I like Gakpo. He probably wouldn't be the captain. That's just been put on there because of the first week I captained him. And then obviously Ekatike, striker of Liverpool. I think he's playing really well. I really hope Isak doesn't go because I think it makes these two options really nice and quite affordable. And it allows me to go no Salah and be comfortable. Because I think my captain would be either Haaland or Ekatike. It allows me to go with Gyökeres as well, Arsenal attacker, Arsenal striker, probably on penalties, scored two obviously against Leeds, and it allows me to go for Haaland. I really like this team. Obviously, it depends on a couple of things. Tottenham can't get another attacker. Liverpool can't get another attacker. Um, but yeah, I really like it. And if we flick through, and Murillo would come back in here. I could even play Anderson if I wanted to over one of the other defenders. I probably would play both of them. But then the captaincy, I know these two play each other, but it rotates quite nice. And they've got Haaland, which I don't think many people can be able to get to for this run of fixtures. And the team just rotates quite. I could even bring Stack in against Bournemouth there. Could play him against Villa instead of Munoz if I thought Aston Villa, or sorry, if I thought Liverpool were going to do really well against them. And yeah, I like this team. So this is my current wildcard 4 team. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Um, I think that's it for the video, to be honest with you. We've gone through obviously my thoughts on the players and the teams that have done well this week, how they could do in the future. My team review, which was obviously absolutely appalling. Hopefully you guys did better than me. Let me know how many points you got in the comments. And what my future wildcard team would look like. There will be a team selection video out tomorrow. Um, just talking about some of the transfers I'm potentially looking at and the team for game week 3. That's everything. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment any thoughts you have on the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Peace.